I'm a spirit channeler and oracle card reader who channels both light and shadow energies in my readings, which means if you're easily triggered, please find yourself another reader. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's reading will be on the topic of unmasking your core limiting beliefs. So this reading is a very serious one. My readings in general are not for entertainment purposes. They're generally for spiritual and personal development, but especially a reading like this. This is not a reading where you just sit back, relax, and listen to what I say, and then just go about your business and eat a sandwich and go back to work. This is a reading where you take out a notepad and a pen, or at least take out the notepad app in your phone or your computer and take notes. We are going to go back to the core limiting beliefs that you acquired before the age of 7, maximum before the age of 10. These are beliefs that are still affecting your life today. The unfortunate reality is that we all absorb a belief system in childhood that, even though we may not agree with it, and even though we know on a conscious level that it's not true, nevertheless, it is ingrained in our subconscious and is the point from which we attract and build our lives. If we are not aware of it, and if we don't uproot it and remove it, unfortunately, our lives will never get better, particularly in those areas where those limiting beliefs are affecting them. So what I'm going to do in this reading is that I'm going to just blow through the limiting beliefs that I'm seeing. I'm not going to spend a lot of time of giving you a bunch of scenarios of things that happen to you. That's your job. That's what you need to do. I'm mainly going to be spending this time blowing through limiting beliefs that I'm seeing. And after each limiting belief, I'm going to give you a trigger statement. And this is how you differentiate between what is for you, because this is a collective reading, and what is not for you. It may also be possible that some of these beliefs almost attach themselves to you, but they luckily did not by some miracle. So the trigger statements will usually be whatever limiting belief I am seeing at that moment. If you feel triggered, if you feel angry, if you feel annoyed, even if it's just for a split second, you have to pay very close attention to your emotional body. If it annoys you, if it triggers you, you need to write it down. I don't care if you believe consciously that it makes no damn sense. If it annoys you to hear that, and actually I want you to repeat it after me out loud. So I'm going to give you the trigger statement, you're going to repeat it out loud. If it annoys you or angers you or makes you feel uncomfortable, you need to write it down, because unfortunately it is a deep-rooted core belief. If you find that you don't feel triggered by that statement, then that core belief is not for you, again, because this is a general reading. Now, at first I was going to do a bunch of piles. I was going to do about 5 piles because I wanted to make it as specific to every individual as I possibly could. But then I had a revelation that whoever is meant to take this reading seriously is going to take this reading seriously. And whoever is open and serious about finding their core beliefs is going to find them, even if there are significantly less piles. They're going to do the work, they're going to repeat the trigger statements, they're going to listen to their emotional body, and they're going to, most importantly, take notes so that they can keep track of these things and go on to work on them, work on uprooting them and removing them. So as a result, I'm only going to be doing 2 piles today. So before we start, I'm going to call in, for a reading like this, I'm going to call in the spirit and the energy of water to infuse our reading and assist us. The energy of water allows us to go deep into the emotional body. So take a deep breath, and you have 2 piles to choose from. Pile 1 is on the left. Pile 2 is on the right. Pause the video if you need some more time to choose which crystal corresponds to your group. And I will see you in your reading. Hello, Pal 1. Welcome to your reading. So these first two cards that are up here are going to be the anchor cards to help me home in on your energy and the limiting beliefs that I'm seeing from the archetype deck that I'm going to be using. So immediately, you guys, the majority of your limiting beliefs are centered around not having a lot of confidence that you can do things on your own, that you can successfully accomplish anything on your own. So before the age of 7, max before the age of 10, you've had a lot of limiting beliefs that anchored themselves in your subconscious mind that revolve around not having the confidence and the capability to successfully accomplish endeavors on your own. Now, I just need to mention once again, if you skip the intro, I recommend you go back and listen to it because I'm not going to be giving any further instructions. All the instructions are in the intro. So, first limiting belief of group 1, please. We have Don Juan. Okay, you guys have a core limiting belief that you cannot accomplish grand success, real success on your own if you are not receiving assistance from a romantic partner. This limiting belief is stronger for those of you who are female and who are straight, but it may also be for some people who are male, where it's like if you don't have a romantic partner who's helping you, especially, I really am picking up a female who needs the help of a man to do things. So you can't go far in your career, you can't maybe graduate from a prestigious university or get a degree, you can't get good jobs, you can't get good homes, houses, apartments, condos, you can't have a large savings in your bank account, you can't really invest your money properly because you don't know the investments and that sort of stuff. These kinds of things are revolving around, I can't really do this until I have a husband or a fiance or a boyfriend to help me. Again, this is really strong for those of you who are female and straight, but if you're male also, I want you to listen to this trigger statement. It is easier for me to be successful if I have a partner to help me. So repeat that out loud to yourself. How do you feel? Did you feel triggered? Did you feel a bit angry, annoyed, irritated? Even if it was only a little spark for a second. You may also have felt at ease with that statement. You should write that down. Take note of that limiting belief because it is there. Here's another one I'm picking up. This one's going to be specific for straight females. My greatest chance of being successful in life is having the assistance of a man. Repeat that out loud to yourself. How do you feel? If you feel triggered, write it down, take note of it. Okay, we're going to move on. The next one, limiting belief for this pile. Okay, we have two that seem to want to come out together. We have slave and magical child. Wow. Okay. This limiting belief is centered around having a authority figure, but from a magical or more spiritual origin. This limiting belief, which again began from the age before the age of 7, max 10, and it's funny. Well, it's not funny, but this, see what I say about these cards anchoring me back in? Here we have this faith card. A lot of you guys grew up religious, in a religious background. Okay, church, the mosque, the temple, any kind of monotheistic religion. I mean, potentially Hindu, potentially, but I really am picking up monotheistic religion where it's like there's only one grand authority. At least with polytheistic religions, if one deity is pissing you off or not assisting you, you can go to another one. That's the way I see it. But specifically from monotheistic religions, if one deity you're not liking some of the things that he is dictating in your canon or in your religion, in your denomination, then there's no veto system, there's no judgment system, there's no one at his level to go to ask for assistance, or there's no Supreme Court type of thing. This God is the Supreme Court. They are the judge, the jury, the executioner. So this limiting belief is for those of you who grew up in a monotheistic religious background. And this limiting belief is that you cannot achieve success if it is not willed by God. If God has willed that he does not want to help you achieve success in your life, then you can't do it because you don't have his assistance and his blessing. So your trigger statement is, if God is against me, I can't accomplish anything. Say that out loud to yourself. How do you feel? Do you feel triggered, angry, annoyed, irritated? If that is so, take note of that to write it down. Here's another one I'm picking up from this trigger statement. God is punishing me. Say that out loud. Take note of it if you feel triggered. Here's another one. Karma is punishing me. Take note of that. Say it out loud. If it triggers you, write it down. Here's another one. God does not like me. Say that out loud. Take note if it triggers you. Here's another one. My life is in God's hands. Now repeat that out loud to yourself. If that makes you feel calm and reassured, then don't write it down. But most people here, if it does trigger you in any kind of way, it does not make you feel calm or reassured. It actually makes you feel a bit scared and helpless and defenseless. If that's the case, write it down. Okay, we're moving on. Next one, companion. Okay, there's something here about people not liking you. A lot of you guys grew up around children, other children who ostracized you from their groups. You may have been the blunt of their jokes. You may have been the odd one out in the groups. You may not have been picked often for groups around children. You may have even been outright picked on. This also could be siblings, I hear, for some of you guys. If you have older siblings, even younger ones, who may have picked on you. It could also be parents, I'm hearing. If you had siblings, did your parents prefer some of your other siblings? Did they compare you in a demeaning way to your siblings? It could also be your parents comparing you in a demeaning way to other people's children if you are an only child. Here's one trigger statement that's really straightforward, but here it is. Other people are better than me. Repeat that out loud. If it triggers you, write it down. Here's another one that's really similar. Most other people are better than me. Repeat it. If that triggers you, write it down. Because sometimes it's a nuance. Because perhaps you don't necessarily feel that everyone is better than you, but for some reason, most people, and that's again is stemming from before the age of 7 or 10 max. Here's one. Most people do not like me. If that triggered you, write it down. Here's another one. I am helpless if other people decide to pick on me. Repeat it. If it triggered you, write it down. Okay, let's move on. Oh wow, we just got one that flew out of the deck. Mentor. Again, this is giving me the vibes of needing someone to help you. Again, with that Don Juan and what I said in the beginning of you not having the confidence and the ability to do things on your own if you don't have assistance from someone who's more powerful or more capable than you. So let's just throw that one as a trigger statement. I cannot accomplish grand things if I do not have the assistance of someone more capable. Repeat it. If it triggers you, write it down. Here's one that I'm picking up from the mentor. I need the assistance of someone more capable and accomplished to help me with my goals. If my goals are going to work out. Write it down if it triggered you. Okay. Okay, well, we have two that flew out together. They appear to want to come out together. We have servant and damsel. Didn't we have, oh, we had slave before. Very similar cards. Now we have servant and damsel. What did we have with slave before? We had slave, child, magical. This is giving similar vibes. So I am seeing a kind of a loop with this group. So I do believe this is going to be the last core belief, like the last cards I pull. But yeah, this is a repeat. This is a loop. So it's about needing other people's assistance. Seriously, you guys have a bunch of limiting beliefs about needing other people's more the assistance of people who are more capable than you in order to accomplish your goals and to be successful. This will be in the form of a male romantic partner specifically, but it could even be a female who is highly intelligent and upper middle class, even if you're male. It could be needing your parents' assistance. It could be needing God's assistance, your angels' assistance, your guardian angels' assistance, ancestors' assistance, your family members' assistance, a boss's assistance, co-workers' assistance. You would need a mentor, someone who's already done things to help you. Otherwise, there's no way in hell you'll be able to do it. A professor's assistance. There's always something here about a core belief of you needing the assistance of someone more capable because you are not capable because most people are more capable than you. This is, if we have to wrap up your reading, this is what most of your core beliefs are about. So long as you don't have the mentorship of someone more capable, you have a hard time accomplishing grand goals. So here is your last and final trigger statement. If I do not have someone more capable and accomplished helping me, I am not likely to achieve my goals. Repeat it. If it triggers you, write it down. One more trigger statement, group. I know, group one, I know I said that last one was going to be your last one, but I just thought of one more. This is similar, but a slight different nuance from one of the first ones I mentioned in your group. And it is that, here's a statement, most people are smarter than me. Okay, repeat that, write it down if it triggers you. It's similar to the one I said where most people are better than you. And better is a bit of a general word. It encompasses a lot, but some of you may need to hear specifically smarter. Also, substitute that with more successful if you'd like, more accomplished. You could even substitute that with prettier or more handsome, more attractive. So most people are more attractive than me. Okay, there you go. Okay, so those are your messages. I hope that helped you and I hope it resonated. Let me know if it did, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello, group 2. Welcome to your reading. So these two cards here are going to anchor me in and hone me into your core limiting beliefs as I cast using the archetype deck to narrow them down. This is also a general overview of the theme of your core limiting beliefs, which for this group is about the need, the necessity to uphold laws, order, and rules. I must uphold the rules. I must follow the rules. That is the general theme of your limiting beliefs. So you guys, before the age of 7 or 10 max, grew up in a household that may have been religious with that religion card, but it was just extremely structured and you had to follow the rules. If you did not follow the rules, there were consequences. You were grounded, you were disciplined, you were beaten, verbally abused, had food taken away from you, chastised. If you didn't follow the rules, there was always consequences, and the consequences were not very light, where you could dismiss them. They were rather serious. And again, with religion, if you didn't follow the canon, if you didn't follow the commandments, you would end up in hell. So there's a huge theme here about you needing to follow rules. So therefore, your childhood self, again, before the age of 7 or 10 max, had to establish what all these rules were so that you wouldn't get into trouble. Because if you break the rules, you're afraid of getting into trouble. So we're going to dive into trying to discover what these rules are that you feel like you must follow. And another thing, if you didn't listen to the entire intro, I recommend that you go back and listen to it because I will not be giving the instructions again. So, part 2. For limiting beliefs for part 2. Damsel. We have Pioneer that's sneaking out. That kind of wanted to come with it. Okay, here we have a theme of you needing other people and other institutions to lay out ideas and order for you. This Pioneer card is all about creating things, being innovative. But the Damsel card is all about needing assistance, always perpetually needing assistance to essentially live. So this innovative, creative force is always outside of yourself, and you're always at the mercy of this innovative, creative force. You're not allowed to be innovative. You're not allowed to have ideas. You're not allowed to be creative. New ideas. If the ideas do not align with the ideas that were already given to you, like the blueprint. Here's a trigger statement for you. I cannot make my own ideas. Repeat that out loud. If it triggers you in any way, if it makes you feel irritated, annoyed, angry, depressed, sad, write it down. Here's another one. I cannot rely on my own ideas. Repeat that out loud. Take note of how it makes you feel. If it triggers you, write it down. Here's another one. Most other people have better ideas than me. Repeat it. If it triggers you, write it down. Here's another one. I cannot be relied upon to make good decisions. Repeat it out loud. If it triggers you, write it down. Okay, let's move on. Wow. Talk about religion here. Talk about religion. Here's your trigger statement. Other people are usually smarter than me. Repeat it. If it triggers you, write it down. Here's another one that's slightly different. Other people are usually more knowledgeable than me. If that triggers you, write it down. Here's another one. God is testing me. Repeat it. If it feels true to you, if it triggers you in any way, write it down. Here's another one. I don't believe God likes me very much. Repeat it. If it triggers you, write it down. Father. Oh gosh. Again, we have a theme here of a father from your childhood who seemed very cold towards you. Also, I have the mother card that's attempting to creep out here from the deck. Parents in general, where it was like, again, punished if you didn't follow the rules. Their word was law, their ideas were law. If it didn't really make sense, you couldn't really tell them otherwise. If they discovered on their own that it didn't make sense and they changed their mind, it didn't really have much to do with you. Here's a trigger statement. My parents don't really like me very much. Repeat it. If it triggers you, write it down. Here's another one. My parents prefer my siblings and other children to me. Repeat it. If it triggers you, write it down. Here's a trigger statement. No one ever helps me if I don't do something for them first. If that triggers you, write it down. Here's another one. I have to do things for people for them to like me. Repeat it. If it triggers you, write it down. Here's one. No one helps me. Repeat it. If it triggers you, write it down. Storyteller and trickster. Here I'm seeing about having to put on a facade, agree with the opinions of other people for them to accept you into their group, and thus for you to be successful. So this happened a lot as a child. If you didn't go along with what your parents or your religious teachers or your school teachers, what they thought, you were ostracized and even chastised. Here's one. Trigger statement. If I tell people what I truly feel and believe, they'll still be my friend. Repeat that out loud. If it did not trigger you, then you think it's true. But if it did, your body is telling you, wait a minute, that's not true. So write it down. Okay, and last one for this group. Okay, appears to be going back around in circles, which makes me aware that definitely this is the last one for this group. Again, about other people being able to make better decisions than you when you not having the knowledge to be able to make the best decisions for other people and for yourself. So here's one trigger statement. It's best if other people make the big decisions. If you agreed with that, if your body felt at ease and comfortable, that's when you write it down in this instance. If you actually felt triggered and you felt annoyed, like, no, what are you talking about? Don't write it down because you don't believe that. Here's one. Other people make the big decisions. My job is to help them. Repeat that out loud. If you felt completely at ease and calm, write it down. If you felt triggered by it, do not write it down. Okay, I'm just going to see if there's one more that wants to come up for this group. I did say that was the last one. Okay, we have 2 cards coming out. Let me just tune into the anchored cards, see if I'm picking up anything else. Here's one. This one requires a little bit of a setup. I need you to first bring to mind a goal that you have. Bring to mind some sort of life goal that you have. Now, with this goal in mind, I want you to repeat out loud, I can't do that. I can't do that. If it feels comfortable for you, like if it feels like, well, I feel like this is true. If it's making you feel uncomfortable, like if it's not making you feel like, wait, hang on, wait a minute. If it's making you feel like, yeah, this is true, write it down. Okay, your last 2 cards, we have King and we have Martyr in reverse. Here's one trigger statement. I can lead other people. I can lead other people. If you felt that, say it out loud. If you felt that you can indeed lead other people, like this is normal, this is in flow, do not write it down. If you felt a little uncomfortable saying that, write it down. Because you would have a core limiting belief that you need other people to lead you and that you are not up to the task of leading anybody. Okay, so those are your messages. I hope that helped you and I hope it resonated. Let me know if it did, and I will see you in my next reading.